Uh-oh, this thing is just turning on right now. No way. And this is kind of honestly a little bit disturbing. Just wandering these hallways, but we heard a weird noise. It sounded like a refrigerator still on. Like, I don't even really want to get near this stuff, to be honest. I don't know what this is. Right now, we are inside of a massive, abandoned animal testing facility. Now, this place is amazing. It even still has power on, but it's also a little bit disturbing based off of some of the research that we did on this location. But we're going to take you around, show you everything that's left in this building. Make sure you give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and let's explore more. So we're just heading down this long hallway. It's kind of weird that the power is still on in this place. But as you can see, we have all these cages, and this was Kennels. Now this place had actual live animals that they were testing on. Pretty weird. The smell in here is actually, I don't really know how to describe it. It's definitely a little off. It doesn't smell normal, but this is where these animals were locked away. They weren't pets, they were test subjects here. And just take a look, you can see, had a little area, probably for some water, some food, and that was their little bed. I'm not exactly sure what kind of animals were in here, probably dogs, but yeah, it's definitely a little weird to see this. Almost like I just feel bad for the animals that were in here. Right outside of where the kennels were is this huge scale, and it makes sense. They probably had to get all the weights of the animals and have everything documented, but take a look. So just step on here. You can actually see this thing's still working just like it was back in the day when this place was open. And right behind the other section is another area filled with these kennels, these cages, where these dogs were being kept. I don't know if it was just dogs, it was probably more than that. But this is where they stayed in this place. For me, it just feels really weird up here. It feels almost like depressing, kind of, just knowing what was actually going on. Now we are making our way into what's kind of like a computer lab / office, which is where some of the doctors would be hanging out in here, doing research. And you can see all these computers are just left in this place. It's just crazy. A lot of older stuff that I've really never seen. This is from IBM, but you know what I'm gonna do? But check out some of these old monitors. Like, stuff like this is just so cool to me. It's been sitting here for so long, and it's just will continue to sit here forever. Who knows what kind of stuff is on these still? You know, I doubt they deleted everything, you know, and there's so much research that's in these computers right now. It's just kind of crazy when you think about that. Kind of actually a little weird. There's like all these pictures left here. All these people look like they were at like a fancy banquet or a dinner or something. Probably some of the doctors who actually work here. Looks like they were doing some speeches, but it's kind of weird that, like, why would anyone want to take this? I was messing around with this power strip. I think I might actually... This thing is just turning on right now. No way. The screen is not coming on, though. I actually got the screen to turn on. And this computer is just up and running right now. Wow. This is kind of crazy. Okay, I'm getting further into this computer the more buttons I press. I don't know what else to press. Uh-oh, something's changing. I don't know what I'm doing. But this is really weird that this computer is still on and working. It's kind of crazy, actually. So down the hall, out of the computer labs, we just found these. So these were actually surgical rooms. So there would be a table in here, and the doctor would perform operations on these animals, doing this research and this testing that was going on. But it does feel really weird in this place, and it's amazing to see these in such great condition. They're pretty much prime right now. And right next to it is another one of these rooms where these surgeries were going on, but this light actually still works. And it's just crazy because we see lights like this in other hospitals and mental hospitals and stuff, but I've never seen one actually work. So to actually stand here and see this, what this was like back when this place was operational, when there was actually a surgery going on right here, this is amazing to see. Just think about what was going on in here and how many surgeries were performed right under this light. The surgeries, but you can look at the animals that they're mentioning. Dog, cats, goats, pigs, rabbits, guinea pigs. So that's kind of some of the animals that were in this facility being tested on and being basically lab experiments. I thought this poster up here was interesting and kind of just labeling some of the animals and their life cycle and some other information, but you see you have rabbits, poultry, guinea pigs, canines, primates, and this one looks like some sort of, maybe like a rat or something. So right down the hall from those surgical suites, we looked in this room and we just noticed this big cabinet. We figured there might be some medical stuff in here. It's the biohazard sign. And there's a lot of glass beakers and test tubes and things, and then we noticed something down here. It looked like there was some liquid. And this is kind of honestly a little bit disturbing. So if you look closely, right in this jar here, this is the brain of a monkey, and if you look on that tape, it actually says a monkey on it. So it kind of is raising some alarms for me, because what were they doing in here that they had to get the brain of a monkey in this jar, and why did they just leave it behind? That's kind of crazy. Also here, you can see on this jar it says jejunum. That's actually part of the intestine, so I don't know if this was all samples from the monkey. You can see there's even some more down here. But that's just crazy, you know, how could they leave this behind, and how did they even have a monkey in this building? Like, having a dog or something is one thing in a kennel, but a monkey? Like, what were they doing with that? It's just, it blows your mind to know that this kind of stuff is going on all the time. So here's an example of kind of like a laboratory, almost like a research style room. You can see they have this little message up here. It says, please avoid spilling HIV blood onto outlets. It's hard to clean off completely. Just wandering these hallways. It's pretty darn weird in here with the power on. But we heard a weird noise. It sounded like a refrigerator still on. And we saw this. Looks like a cold room. And we're gonna head inside and show you what's in here. So here's what this looks like with the door open. You can see right in the front we have some sort of biohazard disposable box. And there's just a lot of stuff in here, a lot of samples from this place. So we're gonna head in there and kind of see what's interesting and what's left. But we're gonna be careful and make sure that we're not touching anything. And make sure we're not in here breathing in this air for that long. You can actually hear how loud it is in here. This refrigeration unit is still on. Still trying to keep all this stuff cold. I don't know why they left all these samples behind, but you can see right in front of me, there is a specimen bag with actual stuff in here. This is like, I don't really know, like samples of skin and stuff like that they were actually testing on. There's just so much in here. And you can see up on the shelves, all these box slides are just filled with slides that would go under a microscope. You know, they could be skin samples or saliva samples, really anything that they were doing in here is all here. This is all the evidence of the research that they did. So this bag actually says no tumors, so they're probably testing certain cells for cancer and stuff, and you can actually see some of the stuff. I think this is actually tissue samples from some of the animals that they had, and it's kind of actually really gross that they left all this behind, but this is just an example of the research and the testing that they were doing on these animals. There's even more biohazard stuff. This looks like, honestly, some blood samples, probably from either animals or they're even doing some testing on humans here too. So that's a lot of the stuff you're seeing here. It's either animal or human testing. But just like the amount of stuff they left behind in here. They didn't dispose of anything properly, they just left it here. I don't know if they have really any intentions of coming back to this building, but like what's gonna happen to all this stuff? Actually, right down here is a blood bag. And you can see it's type O positive blood. It has a donor number and everything, so this definitely wasn't from an animal. This was from a person. So it's like almost kind of confusing as to really what was going on here. So overall, there's just like so many samples in here. A lot of it was, small cell samples or even just tissue samples, but it was weird because some of the stuff looked like it was from animals and some of the stuff had like humans' names on it. So, I really don't know what to make of all this, but it is just really bizarre that this was all just left here. Right now, we are walking into what was once an autopsy theater. Now you can look around and see all these seats, and that was because what was going on in here was someone down here was kind of teaching, almost like a lesson, like they were in school. This person was doing an autopsy or a surgery on animals, and people were kind of watching and taking notes and trying to learn. And it's just crazy to see it like this because, I'm picturing a bunch of people sitting up here. These lights are on. There's an animal here being kind of like dissected on this table. And it's so weird to see it like just completely empty and quiet, and it's just me and the muse here. It's like, what was really going on here? We found monkey brains upstairs. We found human blood samples. What really went down here? What was really on this table? Here's kind of like a close-up look at this table. And they had all these grates here with these holes. So this was, if any blood or bodily fluids went on this, there'd be a drain, and they would drain right out of here. So they wouldn't have to worry about kind of having a big mess to clean up afterward. I'm sure it was super bright in here, but these lights actually don't work anymore. But you have these two huge examination lights, and I wish they worked so we can show you kind of what it looked like back in the day. I actually just climbed up this. Wanted to give you a little view of what someone learning, or like a student or whoever was up here watching these surgeries or these autopsies happen. This is the view they had. What you're seeing now is exactly what they saw. Right now we are seeing something that's super unique, super incredible. If that autopsy theater we saw, wasn't behind the scenes enough, here we have 3 in a row autopsy tables with their examination lights. And these are just so incredible to see and to witness. But at the same time, I'm just, wondering what was really going on here. What kind of animals were being examined here? So when we take a closer look at these tables, you can see they have drains right in the middle, and this was really for if anything spilled out. We're talking blood, any bodily fluids, kind of like the other tables, but these ones are missing the grates. I think there was probably a grate that sat on top of here. Really weird feeling in here, just kind of knowing a lot of weird stuff was going on. I mean, they had monkey brains in here. Was there monkeys on these tables being like examined and taken apart, and I just trying to wrap my head around everything that could have been going on here. And it's just weird seeing it in such like pristine condition. It looks like honestly they could reopen this place up tomorrow. And we saw those kennels upstairs, that was just part of the process, and this was another part, whether they were doing things ethically or not. This was part of their research they were doing. And it happened right here in this room, all those years ago. Alright, we're going to end this video right here. We just explored this entire place. This location was absolutely massive, and we saw some things that I've never seen before. This was such a unique location, unique history, and there's still so much that we don't know. There's so many unanswered questions, and we just have to use our imagination and what we found to just put together the pieces of the past. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and like always, get out and explore more. Peace.